Hey guys, it's Nitin here with the Ultimate eBook Creator, and in this video I'm going to show you step by step how to create a recipe book from scratch. Take that recipe book and view it or review it using the Kindle desktop viewer, and then I'll also upload the same recipe book on my wife's Kindle Fire to show you exactly how it looks on the Kindle Fire. And then finally I'm going to take the same file, which will be in Mobi format, and go through the process of publishing that book right on Amazon KDP. So we have a lot to cover, so let's get started. Okay, so before we get into showing you how to create the recipe book in the Ultimate eBook Creator, I wanted to quickly show you, because I'm really excited that collectively now I have over 3,000 customers, and between them they have created over 3,000 ebooks on Amazon Kindle and other platforms, but mainly Amazon Kindle. And I just wanted to show you some of the books that they have created. Okay, so these are the books, and as you can see, you know, there are some of the customers have created multiple books, and then some of them have more than one book, and some people have just one book. So here's a list. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to show you all 3,000 because don't really have the time to put together a web page with 3,000, but you can see here that there's about 60 books that I've put down, and I will add many more as we go along, but I just wanted to quickly show you that yeah, if you're thinking, you know, if you're in two minds, if you think that the Ultimate eBook Creator, you know, can it create comic books? Yes. Can it create fiction, non-fiction, poetry books, fixed layout, any type of book you want to create on Amazon? The UEC or the Ultimate eBook Creator will let you do that. Okay. All right. So we'll go back to our tutorial on creating the recipe book. So first of all, before I start creating the recipe book, I just want to show you some basics of the Ultimate eBook Creator and establish a baseline so we all understand the terminology. Okay, so this is the Ultimate eBook Creator, and this is the main screen, and now the screen is actually split up into two windows. Okay, the left window, which I call the navigation window, where it lets you actually navigate from one element to the other, like this. And then this is actually where we are going to build our chapters and our sections. Okay, and we have some default information that we also have to fill out. And then on the right hand side you will see the detail screen, which is related to the item that we select on the left hand side. So for example, here we see for the book information, we see the detail screen for the book information, and then when we go to the cover page, it'll tell you that you need to browse and select a cover image, and then the title page. So here we'll define our title page and our copyright information, and then we come to the table of contents, which is really a view where you can kind of put some style to your table of contents. And as you will see as we're going through this video, that the table of contents is actually built automatically as you add the chapters and sections in this left-hand navigation. Okay, and one more terminology you need to know is that chapter is created as a main chapter, and then underneath the chapter we have what I call a section. Okay, so basically we can create a 2-level deep content that will show up as 2 levels in the table of contents. So the concept is we add a chapter, and then under that chapter we can add multiple sections. So you can add as many sections as you want under a chapter, okay, and you can add as many chapters as you want. Okay, so we are going to create 3 recipes in this recipe book, which is just a sample recipe book, and hopefully between the 3 recipes I'll be able to demonstrate a lot of the formatting features that are available in the Ultimate eBook Creator. Now there's a whole bunch of other formatting that you can do, but just keep the video short. I'm going to focus on the main formatting that you will probably be doing throughout creating an ebook. Okay, so we're going to go through the main options. Now what I've done is I have gone to a website called All Recipes, okay, and I'm not stealing any of these recipes. As you well know, it's, you know, you shouldn't be taking recipes for your own, but for demonstration purposes this will be just fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a recipe book with 3 recipes, like I said. The first will be a breakfast, and then we'll go to a main course, and then we'll do a dessert. So here we've got our breakfast recipe, and by the way, we've tried all these recipes, or I should say my wife has made all these recipes, and they do work. So I do recommend allrecipes.ca is a really good website with some really nice recipes. So this will be the main course, and then we'll go into the dessert, which is my favorite. Extreme chocolate cake. Who doesn't like this? Alright, so we'll start with the broccoli, or the easy broccoli quiche. Right, and we're going to go really simple on this recipe, and then I'll show you some advanced techniques that enable you to kind of create this kind of formatting and things like that. Okay, but for the first one, let's just go really simple, and then we'll see how it goes. So let's go back to the Ultimate eBook Creator. So the Ultimate eBook Creator has the concept of a project. So each ebook that you create, you are going to create a project, and then that project will be exported to a Mobi file for Amazon Kindle, or an EPUB, or a Word file, or a PDF. Okay, so there are various options here. As of this video, we have all these options, and you can output. So the concept is that you create a new project here, and then once you finish with the project, you make sure you save everything so you can go back to the project, and then you do the final rendering, which I call the export. So you export to Amazon Kindle Mobi or EPUB, etc., etc. Okay, so we'll say File, New, and if it asks you, save changes, obviously we haven't done anything, we'll click No. And the first thing we're going to type in is Prabha. That's my wife's name, Prabha's recipe book. Right? And just to keep things short and sweet, what we're going to do is we're going to copy and put the description in here. Okay, the next one is the language. We'll keep it at English US, but if you click this button, there are lots of other languages that you can choose from. We'll cancel. And then for the author, I'm just going to type in Prabha, and for the publisher, now a lot of people use alias names, so here you can type in exact, whatever you want, but that's what I'm going to do. And for here you can type in a number of keywords, 1 per line. So I'm going to call it, food, recipe, ebook, etc., etc. Okay, so once you've filled out your meta information, we can click Save. Prabha recipe book, right? And by default, it's going to give it the .uec extension, which is the special extension for the Ultimate eBook project file. Okay, and here we've created it and we've saved it. So that's something that you might need to get into. Basically you do some work and then make sure you save it. Now for the cover page, we'll click on cover page, and let's just go browse, and we'll look at, let me just go and see. I think I do have a cover page here. Okay, here's my cover page. I'll click open, and now here the Ultimate eBook Creator doesn't actually resize this image. It's just showing you a thumbnail of whatever it is. And as of this video, Amazon recommends anything from 1,000 to 2,500 on the longest side, and whatever the width comes out, maintaining the aspect ratio of like this will be 2 to 3 aspect ratio, then that would be fine. So it won't look squished on the actual physical device. Okay, so here's an image that I've created myself, and the picture was taken in Italy on the Amalfi Coast, and here's my wife. So this is the cover page. Now for the title page, a lot of people like type in the copyright information and things like that. What I've given you is actually I've given you several samples that you can use. So if you go into insert and then go to sample copyright text, this dialog pops up. Let me bring it into view. Okay, and then this basically gives you various samples that you can use for the various types of books. And what you can do is, here's my default, but you can override it, right? So if you have this checked, it'll overwrite with whatever we have. At this moment I'm not going to do that, so I'll just cancel here and we'll go with the basic. And obviously you'll type in your author name and stuff like that. I'm not going to worry too much about this for now, but I think you get the idea. Okay, so once you've done that, notice how I keep saving. I think that's a really good practice to get into. And also, if you don't want to call this title page, you can change it and call it copyright or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then it actually changes here. So this is what will show up in the table of contents, and you can also hide this page from the table of contents by unchecking this. Okay. Alright, so we'll just call it title page like we did before. Okay, and we'll come back to the table of contents, but for now let's move on to actually creating the recipes. Okay, so what we need to do is, in this area we need to right click and then select add chapter. Okay, so this title is really the title in the table of contents. Okay, so what do we want to call it? So let's call it breakfast. Okay, for breakfast recipes. And once again, this checkbox will enable it to be shown in the table of contents. So we'll leave it on and we'll click OK. Alright, so now we are actually into the content area for breakfast. Okay, but we are not going to type in anything, but basically you can give it a title just like you do in Word. And what we are going to do is we are going to highlight this and go to format and then style, and then select heading 1 as the style of our title. And here you can actually put in some information like this is or I can say, here are all my favorite I didn't spell that right. Okay, right click, favorite recipes. Oh, and by the way, the Ultimate eBook Creator comes with a really powerful spell checker that handles over 85 languages, and I do have a video specially detailed that walks you through how to set up languages. Okay, so I won't be doing that in this video, of course, but anyway, here are all my recipes that I enjoy for breakfast, something like that. Okay, so what I want to do is, this is the main chapter. So under the chapter I would normally have all the breakfast recipes. So what you want to do is you want to click on the breakfast chapter, right click, and then select add section. So we are now going to add our recipe that's coming from here. So it's called easy broccoli quiche. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste that in. And yes, once again, I want to show in the table of contents, and here I do want to insert a page break because I want each section to be complete in itself, right? And I want the recipe to show up as the first on the page. Okay, so always have this turned on. Click OK, and now, as you can see, we have the section under the breakfast. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to type in the title of the recipe. All right, and we are now going to, for this particular recipe, what I want to do is I've actually downloaded this image so I can show you how to do an insert of an image. Okay, so we are going to insert the image right here. So what we can do is you can either go insert and then image, or you can go right click here and you can say insert, and then you can select image. You can't actually see this because it's outside the recording area, so what I'll do is I'll just select this so you can see. Okay, so now here what we have is the dialog box. You can select your image, so we're going to select this image. Now I pre-downloaded this image, okay, so I can select this image. I'll click open. Okay, so here is my image. Oh, and by the way, we want to be able to set the style on this title to be heading 2. Okay, so we'll go select style, heading 2, and now we have a style for the recipe in the section. Okay, now one more important thing to do. Since we inserted from an external file, it's really important for you to do the following step, which is this. You right click on the image, you go to format, and then in this dialog we need to make sure that we have in the savings options we have embed data in document, not this one, embed original file reference. We do not want to do that. We actually want to do this. Okay, so if you insert, make sure that you go into this option and select embed data in document, okay, or else you will not get this image coming out in the final export. Okay, great. All right, so we're getting there. So we have a easy broccoli quiche. And now what we want to do is we want to add the ingredients. Okay, so we want to add the ingredients. So we can put the cursor here, and then I'm going to go back to this site, and here are the ingredients. Okay, so we'll highlight this, we'll right click, say copy, and then now once again you can actually type this in, but I'm just showing you really quickly that you can do this. And over here, like, see, you have two options, formatted text and unformatted. Now I highly recommend that if you copy anything from places like the internet, you know, I should say the browser, or MS Word, or a PDF document, anything which is formatted, please do not import it or paste it in formatted, because you will bring in junk characters and it will bloat your ebook, and it's just not going to look right, and it's going to be bigger than it really needs to be. So for a high quality book, I would recommend that you either type in everything from scratch, or you put it into Notepad and then bring it into here, or you select this option which is unformatted text. So this editor actually strips out all the formatting, because really we want to do the formatting inside this product. Okay, we don't want to bring in the formatting, which also brings in junk characters. Okay, so that's something that you really need to remember. Alright, so we will be formatting this later on. What I normally do is I bring in all my text first. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna also bring in this, this. I'm gonna say Control C. I'm gonna bring in this, and I'm gonna say this is my tagline, and See, what I did was I did a Control V, which I shouldn't have actually done. What I should have done was select unformatted text. So see, I even made that mistake. Yes, I do make mistakes. Alright, so I'm gonna now highlight this, Control copy, and then I'm gonna bring it into here. I'm gonna say paste unformatted. Okay, so that's that brought in. And let's bring in the other pieces here. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the other pieces. Okay, there you go. So these are the ingredients. Now one more thing. In this mode you'll see that you'll see several pages. So the page is defined, but in an ebook, really the concept of a page is not there. An ebook is more like a browser page, what they call flow text, which means that there is no page, everything flows. But in the Ultimate ebook Creator, this editor actually shows page layout. If you want to see it more in the style of the ebook, all you need to do is go to View and then select Draft Mode. Okay, so in draft mode you'll just see the page scroll. Alright, but I prefer this view, so I'll stick to this. Okay, so that is my ingredients done. Now the next thing is to bring in the directions. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this like this. Copy. Go back to the Ultimate ebook Creator and paste and format it like I did before, and let me just get a little bit more real estate if I can over here. Okay, so for this one what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into draft mode so I can see everything all in one place. Okay, now this one is fine, and what I need to do is I just need to kind of clean this up. And here just need to clean this and this. Okay, so that is the recipe. Okay, great. And now for the formatting, what I want to do is I want to actually go in now and kind of give a little bit of formatting. So for the ingredients I'm going to highlight it, then give it a bold. Okay, and I'm going to change all my font to Arial. Okay, now why I've done Arial is because Amazon prefers you to stick to true type fonts, and they really recommend Arial 12, so that's what I'm gonna do. Now you can pick anything as long as it's a true type font. You'd be good to go. Now if you select a font which is not true type or not supported by Amazon, well, I should say the Kindle device, then it will default to the default font on that device. Okay, but I would recommend that you stay with Arial 12 as much as you can. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we can actually bullet this. So we highlight the ingredients and then we'll click on the bullet option right here. Okay, so we have the bullets now. So we have our ingredients, original recipe. Now here we can actually make this 10 if you wish. Okay, so it looks smaller than this. Alright, and then we've got our ingredients. Okay, and then for the directions, again we're just going to highlight this and bold it so it gives it a little bit of a title, and then here are the directions. Okay, so that's one recipe done. We are going to click on the save to save our recipe, and here is our recipe. Okay, so that's our first recipe done. Okay, so now let's move on to the second recipe, which is the main course. So once again we are going to create a chapter called main course. Okay, so main course like this, click OK, and here's our main course. Now under the main course we are going to create a section called chicken pot pie. So chicken pot pie. And we'll make sure we insert a page break. We'll click OK. Alright, so now we have our chicken pot pie. Now in the table of contents you can call it whatever you want. So if you want to change this table of contents to say something else, you can type in whatever you want, and then here we can say chicken pot pie, or you can call it, you know, recipe which means the title on the page is different from the title in the table of contents. I wouldn't recommend you do that, but there are some customers that actually want this type of behavior, so that's why we have that. Okay, so we have the chicken pot pie. Now in this particular one I want to show you a different technique. Okay, so I'm going to remove this because what I want to show you is something really cool that you can do. So let's go to our chicken pot pie recipe, and I actually want to put in the image like this, and then I want to show you how you can actually type in the title which is next to the image like this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this image and I'm going to say copy image. Alright, then I'm going to go to UEC, or the Ultimate eBook Creator, and right at the top I'm going to make sure that I am actually at the top, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say paste, and then I'm going to say image. Okay, now here, so here's my image pasted. Now here what I need to do is I need to go into the options for this, so I will highlight, right click, format, and then here I want to make sure that I select this one, which is square. Okay, I need to make sure that I select this option for the wrapping style. Okay, once I've done that, and the other thing is make sure go to saving options. Now if you do a copy and paste, by default it will be embedded, but just make sure that that's the option that's selected. Click OK. And now what we can do is we can go back to our recipe, we can highlight this, copy, and then here what we can do is we can say paste, and you can't see it, but I'm going to select unformatted text, and here we go. Okay, so right now this thing is really stuck right up against the image, and what I want is I want a little bit of a gap. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to click on the image, highlight, go to formatting, and then here we go to size and distances, and what we want to do is we'll set a size on the right of 5 millimeters. Okay, we'll click OK, and see, now you've got this little gap, so that's great. Now what we want to do is we want to go right to the bottom, and we want to start typing in our recipe. So we will basically go down to the ingredients once again. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to create this recipe that looks exactly like this for the ingredients. So I want a 2-column ingredient section here. So once again I'm going to just highlight all this. Okay, ingredients. No, let's just type it in this time. Okay, so I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to type in, let me just say ingredients, and then I'm going to type in the tagline. What is the tagline? The tagline was original recipe 9-inch, 1 to 9 inches. Copy. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say unformatted paste. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I need a 2-column, so I'm going to use a table. Okay, so I'm going to go up to table, insert table, and then I'm going to select this table. Okay, now here what we want is we want 2 columns, so I'll type in 2, and the number of rows, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in 1. Okay, because I just want one after the other, and I want to use bullets, so I'll just type in this and I'll click OK.
Alright, now as you can see here, when we render this, this is really, the border is actually hidden. Okay, so this is a hidden border which is like a light gray, but you can actually give it a border style, but we're not going to be doing that in this particular recipe. Now we'll just go back here and I'm going to select the first. I'm going to say copy, and now I'm going to go here and I'm going to say paste, unformatted. Okay, now what's happened here is you can see it's split over 2 pages. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my draft mode, right, so I can see everything. Now here what I'm going to do is this. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I am going to first of all highlight the whole recipe, and then I'm going to go into format, then paragraph, and see this line spacing, I'm going to make it into single first. So that's the first thing I want to do, and then I want to change this to Arial. Okay, and the other one, once again we're going to highlight, copy, come in here, we're going to say unformatted text paste, and we get all these spaces. We'll highlight, right click, and you can say paragraph. Here we'll say line spacing is single. We'll click OK, and once again all we're going to do is we're just going to remove the double lines, and here's another double line here and here. Okay, so now we have it in the 2 format. What we want to do is, I'm just gonna move this up and see if I can actually get this on a single line. If you can, it's okay, not to worry. This is Arial, this is actually Calibri, so I'm gonna highlight this and change this to Arial, and what I will do is I'm gonna make this 10. Okay, and I'm gonna make this 10 as well, so I'll highlight and I'll say 10. Now it actually fits on and it looks pretty decent, I would say. So to put the bullets, we just highlight and click on bullets. Alright, and we'll do the same thing right here too. Okay, so we've got our 2 column recipes. Alright, on to the next, which is the directions. Once again, we'll go to our all recipes page and we'll pick out the directions here. Now over here, if you've noticed, they've got the numbering and then they've got this. We can do the same thing. All we need to do is use the bullet, which is numbering bullets, and in the next recipe we'll try and attempt to do this block. For now, we'll just keep this very simple. Okay, right click copy, we'll go back here, we are going to right click and paste unformatted, and just basically remove these spaces. Now some people actually like that indentation. I don't think it's required for recipe books, so we'll remove that. And if you want to actually put the if you want to number them, then you highlight and basically select this option, which is numbering bullets. Okay, so that's numbered like this. Looks quite nice, and that's your second recipe done. Now in this recipe, what I'm gonna do is something really cool. I'm just gonna call this reviews. Okay, and we're gonna come back to this customer reviews, and we are going to come back to this, but for now we're just gonna call it customer reviews, and you'll find out why very shortly. So here's the second recipe. Oh, and one more thing, we forgot to do our formatting for the ingredients, which is Arial 12, Arial, and then here we are going to format the style as heading 2. Okay, so chicken pot pie, and this one we will format like this, and I think I did make it 10. Alright, so we have our ingredients here in a table, our directions, and I spelled that incorrectly, so I'll just do this, and here's our recipe. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually put a link to customer reviews, but we'll come back to this in a second. And once I've done that, I'm going to click on save again, or I can even go file, save, click OK. And now let's move on to the next recipe. Okay, so for our final recipe, we are going to create a desserts chapter. So once again, right click and say add chapter, desserts. And then under desserts, we are going to select, or sorry, add a section called, what is it called? It's called extreme chocolate cake. Okay, extreme chocolate cake. Alright, we're going to paste this in. Once again, make sure we insert a page break. We'll click OK. Alright, so in our extreme chocolate cake, let's go back to page layout. Extreme chocolate cake, we're gonna go and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna do something slightly different in the method section or directions section. So let me go ahead and add this like I did before. Okay, so I'm gonna right click on this. Oops, I think I did something. I clicked on it. Alright, so I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna say copy image, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna say paste image. Alright, and I'm gonna make sure that our text wrapping is square. So you can either do it this way, or you can go into format and make sure that the wrapping is square like this. Okay, click OK, and then once again here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type in, oh, let me just copy and paste, it's easier. Okay, and once again I'm gonna go into the size and distance and set the right margin to be 5. Now if you press your enter key several times, you'll actually come down here and ingredients, and gonna do basically a similar thing. Now over here we can even put in this information here, so let's just try that too, and you'll see that it looks pretty good. So I'll come back up here and then I'll just put in a couple of lines, and then I'm going to say unformatted, so we'll see this come up here, buttercream, and we can highlight this and we can make it italic. We're going to leave this as Calibri this time. Okay, so format here, set style, heading 2. Okay, so that's done. See, that looks pretty decent. And now here I'm just going to put in the okay, I'm going to go through this fairly fast now because we've done this several times. Okay, and once again, this time I'm just going to put in the ingredients like we see them here. Ingredients, I've also put bullet, points on it. And now next we'll do the directions. Okay, so directions, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now here what I want to do is I want to actually put in this information like this. So once again what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table with 2 columns, and then within that second column I'm going to create another table. So this is a complex table in table scenario, which will be really cool to see. Okay, so here we go. We're going to create a table with 2 columns and 1 row, right? Alright, and in here what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this, and I'm going to paste it into here, paste and format it, and once again I'm just going to highlight, right click, paragraph, make sure that we've got single line spacing, and I'm just gonna remove some of these indentations which you really don't need. Okay, alright. Now this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make this into an Calibri 10, so we get more information on. And on this side, what I want to do is I want to actually create this second table. So all you have to do is basically put your cursor in there and then go to table and say insert table, and this time I'm going to create 1 column, but if you look at here we've got 1, 2, 3 rows. Okay, so let's create 3 rows this time. Alright, so now we've got our 3 rows. Now what we want to do is basically just type in this information. Okay, so I'll paste and format it again, and then it says 30 minutes, so let's just type that in. We'll say 30 minutes. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this one too, so I'll highlight the whole thing, copy. So the main thing here is, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just typing in the text and then I'll format it later on. Okay, unformatted. Alright, so the first one, what we have is we have 30 minutes prep. Okay, so 30 is actually highlighted, so we're going to bold that, and we're actually going to make this a lot bigger. That's way too big. 18, let's try 24. Okay, so that's looks about right, and it says 30 mins, and the prep time. Okay, so the other thing is that we want to center everything, so we highlight this, we right click, and then we'll say format table. Okay, and in here we're gonna pick what is the thing, color background. So actually this is the wrong one. What I meant to do is I just need to click on this option here, which formats the text like this. Alright, on to the next one. So we've got cook and then 35 mins. So we've got cook, we'll press enter, and you've got 35 minutes again, so we'll bold that, and I believe that was, okay, that was 24, so we'll make that 24 too. Alright, and the last one we have ready in 1 hour and 5 minutes. So ready in 1 hour 5 minutes. Once again we're going to highlight, make this 24, highlight, make this bold and 24, and this is actually a different color. So format character, go into other and select this and that is the font color. Click OK and do the same thing with the 5. So format character, we are going to go other, click OK and then OK. Right, so it kind of looks similar, might not be exactly the same, but it looks similar, and we can go with this. Let me just fix up some of the typos here and we're good to go. Okay, that's I would say that's pretty decent, and you can even put a box around here. So let's say we want to actually put this box around. What we do is we will highlight this table, right click, go format table, and then here we are going to pick this one, which is showing the box all the way around like this. Okay, click OK, and now you have your box. Alright, so we are looking good. Now we can just make it a little bit thinner, just a little bit. Let me just move this up, and here also what we can do is in this one, I want it to actually center it, but it's okay. We can actually keep it like this. We go format, and in here do we have line width, vertical top. Alright, keep these options. Okay, so I'm kind of playing around with this as I go along, but anyway, here we go, and now we're just going to finish off the formatting, and that's great. Now we're going to save. Okay, now if you remember, in the chicken pot pie we actually had this thing called customer reviews. So that's what we're going to do now. What we're going to do is create some customer reviews. So once again, I'm going to create a chapter called review, or let's just call it customer reviews. Okay, customer reviews, and under this I am going to create a section called chicken pot pie, because, and I'll just say reviews. Alright, because we can create a section for each of these recipes. So if you have like 20-30 recipes, we can have reviews for each one of them, and we'll click OK, and then here we will just go back into page layout, and we're going to call it chicken pot pie reviews. Alright, and what we're going to do is we'll go back to our chicken pot pie recipe, and over here we did see reviews, so we'll click on reviews, and it's going to bring up reviews here. Okay, so this particular recipe, the reviews aren't showing up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that we have for the, let's say, the broccoli recipe. So let's say we have the reviews for the broccoli recipe. Okay, so oh, what's going on here? Okay, so here we do have some broccoli reviews, so I am just going to do the same thing here. I'm going to actually remove this, or let me rename this. So I'll call this let me just take this, copy, I'll put this here, I'll paste. So now it's become an easy broccoli recipe review. Copy that, and then I'm just going to paste it here. Paste. And then I'm going to take this whatever this is, I'm just going to take this blurb, copy, go back, and I'm just going to paste unformatted. Okay, so here is the review for the easy broccoli recipe. And once again, I'm just going to go format, select style heading 2, click OK. Alright, so here's another thing I want to demonstrate, is that I want to put a second review here. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll select the second one like this, but what I want to do is I actually want to put it onto another page, so each one starts with a new page. Okay, so what I have here is, let me go back. Okay, so here I want a new page. So what I want to do is I want to type in Control and the Enter key. Right, so now I've created a brand new page. Here is a brand new page, and on that page I'm going to simply type in Chibi Chef. Okay, or I should say Chibi Chef. Okay, and that's the guy who gave the recipe, the review, and then I'm going to enter the unformatted, and I'll just highlight this. Okay, so here is the rest. Here is the first one. Here's the second one. Now, if you want to see the page breaks within a particular section, all you have to do is basically go to draft mode, and if you scroll down here, you'll see this line. This line means that you've actually created a hard page break. Okay, so here I'm just going to type in, I'm just going to make up a name. Okay, Jeff Johnston. Okay, so Jeff has given a one review, and this Chibi Chef has given another review. Alright, let's click save, and now what we want to do is we want to actually put in return. Okay, so we're going to return back to the recipe. So here we're going to say return. Okay, so here we're going to return back, and we're going to return back here. Return. Alright, so what we're going to do is we'll go back to easy broccoli recipe, and we'll scroll down, and what we'll do is here we'll put read customer reviews. Now we'll highlight this by just with the mouse, then we'll go to bookmark, and we'll say insert link to bookmark. Okay, and in this dialog that pops up, basically you have two types of bookmarks. The first one is bookmarks within the content that you've set, and the other ones are bookmarks to the table of contents here. So what we're going to do is we are going to select the bookmark, which is this table of contents here, easy broccoli quiche. So under customer reviews, you've got easy broccoli quiche reviews. You click that and you click OK. So see how this becomes a link. Now you cannot test this link as of this video. I'm working on this feature, but within the UEC you cannot test it. What you will have to do is basically export it to a real EPUB or a movie file, or a Word or PDF, and then the links will work. Okay, so this will when clicked will jump to this, and now we need a way of getting back, right? So that's why we have the return. So we are going to highlight the return, go to bookmark, insert link to bookmark, and we are going back to the easy broccoli recipe. Okay, so easy broccoli recipe, click OK, and the same thing down here. We highlight, insert link to bookmark, go to table of content items, and easy broccoli quiche, and that's it. Click save to save, and there you go. Basically we have completed the complete sample book, I should say. And on the way, we saw a whole bunch of formatting things that you can do with this. I mean, there's a whole other options here for header, footer, and things like that. Unfortunately, headers and footers don't work very well in ebooks, but they do they're relevant for physical books, but that's another story. Okay, and we've got tabs, and we've got a lot of options here. Okay, and you can even insert symbols in here and things like that. Okay, so now that we've finished this, what we're going to do is that we are going to render this file as a MOBI file, and then we're going to view it in the Kindle desktop viewer, which is a software desktop application. Alright. Okay, so let's go ahead and export this file to a MOBI file, so we can actually view it in the MOBI desktop viewer. So Prava recipe book, we'll click save, and as you can see, I've already done that, so I'll overwrite. So here it's creating our ebook, and here it's showing the progress. Okay, so it's doing some crunching, and while it's doing that, we'll just wait. Alright, so now that we're done, we'll click OK, and we are going to go to the folder. Alright, so let's go to the folder. Okay, so here is my folder, and I'm actually making this video as we talk. So here is the MOBI file. Now I've already installed the Kindle desktop viewer, and if you guys haven't done that, then basically all you need to do is go to Google, and I'm going to type in Kindle. So here we are, Kindle desktop reader, and this link over here. So here is the application. All you need to do is basically download and install the app. Okay, so in Google just type in Kindle desktop reader and you basically get to this site. Alright, so once you've done that, basically you will, once you've rendered it, this is your file. We'll double click on it, and here is the Kindle desktop viewer. Okay, so here is the Kindle desktop viewer. Now as you can see, you can actually size this, and it does flow the text correctly. Alright, so I'm going to try and make it as big as I can so you guys can see this. Alright, so here is our book. This is our copyright page, and if we go back one, here is our cover page. Alright, so if we go one next, then we see our table of contents. Alright, so this is the table of contents that we created, and then we go to the breakfast. So we see the breakfast section, and now we see our broccoli recipe here, really nicely laid out. Look how nicely it's laid out. Now you can actually make this small, and it will flow properly, but it is jittery. But let me just see. The bullets come out nicely, the directions, everything is nice. Now over here we can click on customer reviews like we saw, right? So we click on that, we go to the customer reviews, and we can always return back, or we can go down. Now remember, I put a hard break on the section after this, so that's why the second review shows up on its own page. Now we can click here to return, and we return back to the broccoli recipe. Now we'll click next and next, and now we've got the chicken pot pie. Now here we see that we have a nice title on the right hand side with a little image, and see the recipe is actually nicely done. Now what I'm going to do is, let me just put this out so you can see, and I'll scroll this down a bit. Hopefully you can see that. So see, this is the main thing here. See, it's come out as a 2-column recipe ingredient section. Alright, and if we go next and next, now we come to the chocolate recipe, and here look at this, look at the formatting of this. Isn't that cool? Isn't that good? So this is the kind of formatting you can do. Okay, so that is the so we've reviewed this in this in the Kindle desktop viewer. Now there is one caveat. Okay, if you want to keep reviewing, if you make changes, so you go back here, you make a change, then you re-export, and then you want to see it back in here, well, there is one trick you must do. Okay, you cannot you won't see the latest changes if you don't do this. So what you want to do is, if you want to review a second change, you first want to open up this, then you go to library, and then you now find that book that you want to review, that you're reviewing. Okay, so here's the book, and you want to right click and you want to delete this book. Okay, you want to delete. Now if you don't delete, you will not see the new changes, because this program caches the book. Alright, so just delete it, then you and the other thing is, you must close down the application like this. Okay, now if you double click on the Mobi file, you will actually see the changes. Alright, over here we have the content area, so you can always click that, and this is actually built into the device, so you can always go to, you can jump to sections just like you will be able to via the table of contents. You can go here, and then you can just click on any of those menu options. Okay, so that is it. Now in the next section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this file into the Kindle viewer, and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. Okay guys, I hope you can see this. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a juggling act, but here is the book. This is my wife's Kindle Fire, and here is the book already loaded. I'll click on it and it takes me into the book. Okay, and I'm going to touch this. So now we have the copyright page, and we'll go to the table of contents. So hopefully you can see the table of contents here, and if we click on, say, broccoli recipe, so we go right here and you can see that the recipe is good. We can flick the pages, and then we can go right into the read customer reviews. So if I click on that, it takes me right to the customer reviews, and I can return back. Okay, let me go back to the customer reviews, return. Okay, so we come back here. Alright, so let's go next. Now here, if you notice this, a lot of people say, hey, the bullets don't line up. Well, if you remember, I told you that Kindle is really a browser-like product or a device. So the current font setting on this device is making this content look like this. So what you want to do is you want to go down to let me just go down to where it says the font icon here. We click on the font icon, and right now the font style is set up. Okay, so if I choose the smallest one and we go back to the page, you can see that the all the bullets line up now. So this is something that you really want to be careful with. Now I've only set up this as a as a 2-column ingredient, but this is something that you really want to be aware of when you're creating your ebook. Okay, so let's go here, and now we see the recipe for the chocolate. As you see, everything linear looks really nice, so just be aware of that. And see this the title. Now another thing you're going to notice is that Kindle justifies everything. So if you notice here, Kindle justifies. So even if this was left justified, Kindle has justified. Okay, so that's something else that you cannot control. Alright, so let's go to the final one. Now the final one here is really something that is exciting, and this is simply that we did create a border around the table, and here's the ingredients. Now one thing that you might notice that this is kind of slightly above this text here. We can easily fix this by playing around with the formatting, but once again it all depends on the font that you choose. Okay, so if we go back here, we go onto the font, we select this font, and we come back, the formatting is not as good as it was before. Okay, so see, it's actually coming to this area, which is on the second virtual page. And then we come to the reviews. So here are the reviews, right? And then we can always go back if we click on those links. So that's it. That is the recipe book. And let's go back to the computer, and I'm going to show you how you upload this to Kindle. Okay, so in this section of the video I'm going to show you how to publish your Kindle ebook. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to create an account on Amazon KDP. So just type in Amazon KDP in Google, and the first link you get to, you want to click on that link. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to log into my account. Okay, and the first thing you want to do is here's a sample account. I don't have a lot of books in here actually, but what you want to do here is you want to add a new title. So we click on add a new title. Okay, and then it's going to go through and it's going to talk about let me just make this a little bit low so we can actually see this. Alright, there you go. Okay, so first of all, introducing KDP Select. KDP Select is it's an optional program, but it gives the opportunity of the Amazon readers to actually download your book and try it out. And I would say that this is a really good idea, but you really need to think about when you want to offer it for free. But anyway, we should enroll in this book select. Okay, so I would say enroll in this. Okay, and then we want to give it a title. Now the title should always match the title of your book in the metadata. So I always take the title from here, make sure that it matches. So paste that in there, and then this book is not going to be a series, so we don't have to worry about this or the edition number. Now the publisher, once again, I'm going to this one, and I'm going to pick publisher is Prava Mystery, and I'll paste it in there. Now for the description, we are just going to put in a description like this, but 4,000 characters are allowed. So Prava's recipe book, this book is loaded with my most delicious recipes and more. Now the reason I'm typing this in is because there isn't a minimum requirement for the description. So of course you will think of a really good description. I'm just kind of making this up. There are lots of recipes in the recipes. Okay, so something like this. And what we want to do now is we want to put in the author. So we say add contributor and then give the author a name. So Prava Mystery, and we'll select author, click save, done English. So now we have the language is English. Publication date is optional. This will actually be picked up from the metadata here, so you can supply if you wish to by clicking that button and just selecting the current date if you wish. ISBN, they will assign an ISBN to you, so don't worry about this, leave this blank. Now here, verify your publishing rights. Because this is going to be our own information, we are just going to say this is not public domain, okay? And now target your book to customers, so we can add categories. So we'll click on categories and we are going to pick on something like cooking, and then we'll go entertaining or something like that, and we're going to go I don't know, pick something general like that. Okay, click save. Of course you're gonna make, you're gonna spend a lot more time than I am. I just wanna kind of get on with it. And now here for the keywords, what we want to do is we want to transfer these keywords that you typed in here right in here. So recipe, food, recipe, ebook, and they allow you up to 7 keywords here, so you can type in followed by a comma. Now here it says upload or create a book cover. Okay, so a lot of people ask me that, oh, you've already specified a cover here, so why do I have to upload? And my answer is that you should always upload an image for this, and that is because that Amazon can use either one of them, and they use it for creating a thumbnail, etc. But I just like to upload because I think it's a good idea. Okay, so I'm gonna upload this. Now I'm hoping this is going to work. Okay, so here is my recipe cover book. I'm going to click open and I'm gonna say upload image. Now this might take a few seconds, and I do hope this works because before it kind of didn't. Okay, that's great. Now this has worked. Now here is where the issue is. So if I click close, oh, I guess they fixed the issue. Before this image really didn't show up, but I guess they fixed it over the few weeks. Alright, now for the magic, upload your book. Okay, so we do not enable digital rights management. We do not want this option because we want to distribute this book to as many people as possible. I never choose this enable option. I always choose this one. And now we're going to browse for the book, and the book is right here, Moby, this Moby book. And once again, a lot of people ask me that Amazon allows you to upload EPUB, HTML, MS Word and PDF, but the reality is that Amazon actually converts all those into Moby. So I only recommend that you upload Moby. At the very least, if you want to upload an EPUB file, go ahead, but I would not upload anything more than that. If you want to guarantee that your book is going to look exactly the way you designed it in Ultimate eBook Creator and your formatting is good. So let me go ahead and upload the book. Okay, now I'm going to delete this book, okay, but I hope that Amazon doesn't detect that this is plagiarized information. And like I said, this is not a real book, it's just a sample that I'm creating, and I will, of course, I'll be taking it off as soon as I've recorded this video. And let's just wait until it's converted. Okay, so there we go. Upload and conversion successful. Spell check. There were 0 possible spelling errors, so this is something new. This never used to be there, so that's really good. Now you can preview your book, so you can use the online previewer if you want. Personally, I don't really use this because it really doesn't give you 100% accurate preview, so I don't bother with this. I will just gonna move on to the next. So if you want to preview, yes, but please don't send me support ticket saying, oh, how come my book doesn't look right. I would highly recommend just using the desktop viewer, which does a really good job. So let's save and continue. Alright, so here comes the wonderful options of pricing and things like that. Okay, so once again, we want to have worldwide rights, right? So we want to choose this option, worldwide. Okay, and then for this, now a lot of people get a little bit confused as what to choose. So please select a royalty option for your book. So 35% and 70%. Now remember, you can change all this later on. Okay, so once the book is published, you can always come back and make changes, but beware, as soon as you make a change, it goes back into review, so Amazon does review your book. Okay, so what I normally do is when I publish a book first, I will select 35%, and that's only because I can set a price between 99 cents and $200. If I picked 70% royalty for me, then my book has to be between $2.99 and $10. Okay, so when you launch a book, if you want reviews and if you want people to review, then you got to make it really easy for them to buy the book. So I would suggest initially for the first couple of weeks or so, until you start getting sales, you leave this at 99 cents. Okay, and then provide price must be 0. Okay, alright, here we go. Alright, so we'll say 35%, we'll leave it at 99 cents, and then we're going to come back here in a couple of weeks, and then we're going to see the sales, and then we're going to go back to 70% and then up the price to at least $3.04. That's a magical number for me. I find that a lot of my books, as soon as I set that price point, they do sell. So $3.04 is a good selling point after the fact, but then you can acquire 70% royalty. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say set everything, all these to the same. Alright, so here's, by checking this box, you were actually setting all of them to the same. So all these different Amazon sites in the different locations will be selling it at equivalent of 99 cents US. Okay, allow lending of this book. Now I would definitely see this, I always check this option on, but once again, you gotta be careful when you select this when you want to allow the lending. So I'm not going to go through a lot of this. You can read it here, but you should check this option and lend the books. Okay, for now I'm going to leave it off. By clicking this and saving below, I confirm that basically it's just you're confirming everything. You click OK here, and then you click save and publish. Initiating publishing. See, so basically everything worked, and it says be aware it can take up to 12 hours for English and 48 hours for other languages. And back to bookshelf. So see here, this dialog box should actually go away, and underneath, if you can see, it says successful. So we'll click that. There you go, called Prabha's recipe book. Alright, Prabha's recipe book. And if you look at the status of this book, it's in review. Alright, so this is in review. So if you come back in 12 hours time, usually it doesn't take 12 hours, maybe more like 4 hours or something, 4 to 8 hours. You come back and you will find that this has been approved. But okay, so that was it. That's the whole cycle. So I demonstrated how you can create an ebook using the Ultimate eBook Creator and showing it uploaded in the Kindle Fire, and also how you can publish it on Kindle KDP, or I should say Amazon KDP.